keep having all these problems. How we gonna solve them? Every day it's the same thing. All these unsolved issues, I guess it's official. Here we go again, the same thing. And I'm tired of arguing and lying. So goodbye.
Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is June the 3rd, 2024, and today the topic is Suffer Patiently. Happy Monday. Yes, happy Monday, everybody. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Mine was just fine. Yes, mine was good overall. Yesterday was good. Y'all heard all about my Saturday or whatever, because your girl recorded at 9 p.m. But yeah, Saturday was fine. We was out of town and we was in a service area, bad service area, things of that nature. So yeah.
And I didn't come with mommy because I was still sleeping.
So yes, he's talking about yesterday. So yesterday was Sunday, and obviously we started a new series for the kids ministry. I worked my 2 gatherings, and then I went to receive a word for the 3rd. The word felt right on time, especially with my going back and forth mentally about the pruning season and things of that nature. And I was able to still continue to seek wise counsel about moves and whatnot. But yeah, yesterday was good. NJ did not go to church with me yesterday because I got him up to get ready. He had to shower on for him and everything like that. After I was done, because he usually gets ready and gets dressed, I pick his clothes out, he gets ready and gets dressed. Well, yesterday morning, I guess maybe he was just so tired and pooped from Saturday that he was still in the bed when I was ready to go. And I was like, boy, I got to go. And so that's how that happened. And he stayed home with Papa yesterday when Mommy went to church/work. But he's gonna get the word
on those play kids things.
Okay, so no, because the stuff on the stage is not to play with. The stuff on the stage is just for y'all to see. But anywho, but he'll be going today to the Monday gathering if the Lord's will.
And then I get to see the thingy again.
We'll see. So yeah. So that's,
I'm gonna spend my whole bucks too.
NJ. So yeah, that's pretty much what Sunday looked like. Yeah, I can't think of anything else significant to share about Sunday. But I did just have a meeting with my virtual assistant, so shout out to Elizabeth. Usually again, back in the day, I would have recorded the juice already, but hey, man, again, the juice comes out when it comes out. But anywho, yeah, we had a conversation, and then after our monthly quote unquote meeting and whatnot, and talking about updates and things to work on, things of that nature. I just happened to kind of go back on social media, and I saw the word endure. And I remember seeing it earlier this morning. And so I decided to look into it. And so when I went to look at the definition of endure, I found it very interesting that the definition pretty much says suffer something painful or difficult patiently. But the something painful or difficult part was in parentheses. So ultimately, it says the definition of endure is to suffer, or just suffer patiently is the definition of endure. And I found that to be very interesting this morning. I don't know if I ever thought about the word endure to mean suffering. I think I thought I don't know what I thought endure meant now, now that I've seen this definition. I guess maybe like to keep going, things of that nature. But suffer patiently. I found that to be quite interesting. So I ended up going deeper and going to openbible.info and plugging in that phrase, suffer patiently. And the verses that I came across were resonating with me. And that's what I decided to go ahead and share the juice about today. So these are the verses, y'all, that were standing out to me this morning. 1 Peter 2:20 says, "For what credit is it if you sin and are beaten for it? You endure. But if when you do good and suffer for it, you endure, this is a gracious thing in the sight of God." So obviously, I mean, over anybody else, of course, I can only think about Jesus, right? Obviously, this is what he did, right? He suffered for no reason of his own, right? Um, he suffered patiently. Um, and again, I mean, I know I talk about suffering and whatnot. I mean, I don't think that we um, do this well. Like, I think that very few of us probably really truly suffer patiently. Um, a lot of us again suffer uh begrudgingly, right? We suffer angry, right? We suffer, we experience suffering, but there's nothing patient about it, in my humble opinion. So yeah, something to this whole suffer patiently thing, or endure, right? um Actually, there was so many verses in the Go Deeper section, or so many verses that was resonating as I was looking into, again, this phrase suffer patiently, that I ended up just putting, for you guys to just go to openbible.info and look at them yourself. Again, I'm going to share a couple of more verses that were standing out to me, but who knows, man, there may be some things in particular that you need to see or hear in reference to this. So I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired to go deeper and to look into this for yourself. But ultimately ask yourself today, like, are you willing to suffer patiently, especially if you don't deserve it? The suffering that is. Now, hey, again, I don't think any of us should think that, oh, I don't deserve X, Y, and Z, because at the end of the day, all we deserve is death, technically. Again, we have all sinned and fallen short. So any suffering that you do experience, technically you deserve it, right? I find that to be so interesting that I just said that, because this might be controversial if I go ahead and say everything. But I've been binge watching Queen Sugar. And it was something I was watching back in the day, and I was like, let me go ahead and just finish the series. I hadn't watched it in so long, and I think it's done filming and all that stuff now. So, I've just kind of been binge watching it. And there's some things that, again, I would say it's shot beautifully. It's this beautiful story about his family. It's a lot of stuff going on. And of course, there's moments where you're talking to the screen and being like, oh, why did you do that? Things of that nature. And I get it. It's entertainment, or it's a show, or whatever case may be. But then there's so much things in there that they try to tap into, again, real life. Obviously, they address the pandemic. They address all the different things that was going on in that particular season. And, there's things that, I can acknowledge or resonate or whatever with. And then there's things that I don't necessarily resonate with. And one of the things I would say that I don't resonate with is this idea of doing something wrong, right? And then receiving the consequences of that, and then making it to be like, oh, why am I suffering? And we all do that, man. We all do that. We're like, Lord, give me grace and mercy. I found it very interesting as well that, like, when some of the main characters actually really, really was going through stuff, then they went to God. But before, all while they was going through different stuff and doing different stuff and saying different stuff, and they were going to alternative methods and whatnot. But then, like, when it got really, really, really deep, then they want to pray and they want to go to God. Now, again, that's something that we all do as well. I just showed you guys and told you guys over the past month or so that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start being intentional about going to God first, because I see myself always going kind of last. And so yeah, and hey, and I was more intentional about a month or so ago than I'm intentional now. Like, yes, I'm going to the God for my confusion and for my misunderstanding and things like that, but I am still going to counsel and whatnot as well, to see other perspectives and things on my situation. But there was definitely something to those times when I went to God first, right? Those times when I was writing out my prayers and saying to the Lord, the things that was on my heart and mind, and presenting those things to Him first. And so I guess I say all that to say this idea of suffering, again, it's a part of life, right? It's a part of, again, the ups and downs of this sinless world, or sinful world, and things of that nature. And so can we suffer patiently, right? I know a lot of times people, there's like they're pointing up at God, like, well, why don't he do something about this? Why don't he just come back and X, Y, and Z, not knowing that again, you're putting yourself in danger to say, hey, God, come on back now. Because what if you're not ready, right? What if you're not prepared, right? What if your lamps are not trimmed and burning? Then you're going to be lost alongside of everyone else that is lost. And so, again, God is patient, right? He's suffering patiently in order to give us all a chance to, to accept the way that he's created. Now, again, we all ain't going to do that. And that's the unfortunate part of of the conversation. But anyway, that was just things to think about. So let me give you guys another verse that was standing out to me, y'all. It's James 5:10. It says, as an example of suffering and patience, brothers, take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. Whew. I mean, hey, there's a lot in the Bible about different individuals that God sent to speak on his behalf. I mean, a lot of them obviously had, issues because obviously they're saying things that people don't like. Matter of fact, I came across a quote over the weekend that was saying that if the Bible was truly written by man, it wouldn't be going against the things that man want and things of that nature. Like, it would pretty much be in alignment with whatever we, our desires and things of that nature. But when you read the Bible for yourself, you're going to see that there's just about everything. And I've been saying this over the years as well, that I guess this is what I received, is that just about everything that the world says that we should do, the Bible says the opposite. So, yeah, I mean, you guys can go deeper about that, about whether you believe that or not, but I just think that's something to think about. Again, when thinking about God and his word and everything he did, right? So let me give you guys this last verse that I felt led to write down, which is my favorite verse. Y'all should probably already know it. It's Hebrews 10:36. It says, for you have need of endurance, so that when you have done the will of God, you may receive what is promised. Yeah, I mean, again, that's a humbling verse. Sometimes, again, we might not receive the promise, right? It might be for my son to receive the promise, or my son's son, or my son's son's son, or whoever, you know what I mean? Maybe it's, again, just being obedient and doing what the Lord has me doing in this season to help whoever the next person is in the next season. Who knows, man? But again, it's just one of those things. Can we suffer patiently? Whatever you're suffering with, can you suffer and endure it patiently? That's the question, man. That is ultimately the juice this morning. I hope you're encouraged and inspired to do so. If you need more encouragement, check out the Go Deeper section. There's plenty of verses to peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. The Bible verse of today is Ephesians 1:7. It says, in whom we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins according to the riches of his grace. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration.
Juice mommy.
I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day. And I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. And there you go. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. Anybody listening to the sound of my voice, hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing. All those wonderful things. Is there anything you want to share with the people before we go?
I want to say, I love y'all.
Oh, and we love you too, kiddo. Y'all have a wonderful Monday, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.